What's up, boys and girls? Hi, it is Rick Kamla. It is Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. We are the Fantasy NBA today. We have a big show planned for you. We're going to be talking about fourth-year players that were drafted back in 2001 and continuing our series here on young players, what they did, where they're going. We've got playoff vibes for you. We've got ATS picks. We've got prop bets. We got it all for you coming up here with Cam and Dr. A, and we'll get Doc talking in just a moment. I want to tell you about Bet Online. Are you making money during the playoffs right now via Bet Online? You should be. Download the app, hook it up. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for all your sports betting action. Fund it a little bit, get some cash, some bankroll, and go nuts out there. Baseball season's in full swing. Me and Doc like the strikeout props. We're into the NBA, NHL playoffs. Bet Online has more ways to stay in the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting when the games are being played. I'm literally addicted to live betting right now. I'm like Cammy day trader. It's awesome and hilarious, and I'm doing it on Bet Online. They have the largest selection of odds and everything from MLB, NBA, NHL, UFC. Bet Online remains the best online source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, go to the Bet Online casino. They have the top Vegas-style games, including poker and a live casino. Bet Online, the game starts here. Doc, we have fourth-year players drafted back in 2001. And from a fantasy perspective, of course, this is the final two episodes of this series. We created it to evaluate players in the early stages of their careers, their trajectories, where they've come, where they're going. And so we're looking at this based on 8 cat per game rankings this past season, okay? Season a success or disappointment? What do we see from them next year? So, Doc, let's dive in with a man named Cade Cunningham. Talk to me, dude.
Have never been a Cade guy. And even coming into this season, I was like, I don't know if he's ever going to meet the potential or live up to the hype that we've placed on him. He's always injured. I'm just scared of Cade. He plays for Detroit. And literally all of my concerns were washed away this season. So I am on the Cade Cunningham bandwagon along with you and everybody else at this point, I think. Not scared to take him next year and look forward to having him on some teams because I haven't had him. And you were doing the Bet Online read, and I feel like one of the easiest prop bets to hit this year was bet a double-double for Cade Cunningham because he was the double-double machine, man. And I really like him. 26 points, 6 boards, 9 assists, a steal, almost a block. Turns it over a lot. I know we don't care about turnovers around here, but 4.4 TOs is a lot of TOs. So if you play in a turnover league and you worry about those things, he may not be your guy. But outside of those turnovers, man, he was awesome.
Cade's got to get the 3-ball cooking, Doc. He's just got to. It's got to become a better part of his game. He shot 5 of 28 in the Knicks series from 3. 5 of 28. You have his stat line up in front. How many 3-balls per game, Doc? Was it 2.1, 2.2? How many threes per game for Cade this year?
Funny that you asked that because I did not have his stat page. I had the Detroit team stats pulled up, and that's the only category it doesn't show. But when I pull up his actual stats, which I've got now, I can tell you he shot 6 threes a game and hit 2.1 of them, 35.5%. I mean, it's
so
okay.
I pulled that number out of my ear, but I got that right. 2.1. Yeah, I mean, this is all stuff I can work with, Doc. I don't mean to. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you. I heard kind of a wonky connection. Are you back with us? We good?
Oh, did I? Yeah, I didn't leave.
I heard a little like wah 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 wah. So anyway, go ahead, dude. Finish your thought.
No, I'm good. I'm done. I gave you his stat. I like you said, man, I can work with all those numbers. And 2.1 threes, everybody hits threes. I don't need all my threes coming from Cade Cunningham. So I'm good with it.
You know what, though? Like, I mean, I'd probably rock with Cade if he averaged 1 3-ball a game. But 1 3-ball a game is a buzzkill. You know what I mean, Doc? Like, give me the 2. Like, 2 is the floor for a guy like Cade Cunningham, scoring in the upper 20s and that kind of thing. Like, you got to give me 2 threes a game, and he does. And I think that area of his game is going to expand. He was at 26 PPG this year, up from 22.7. So basically, like, almost a 3.5 point per game hike. I think it's really a joke that he didn't win Most Improved Player of the Year. I think it's a joke. And was Dyson Daniels improved? Yes, greatly improved. However, Dyson Daniels never played before this year, okay? So what did he improve on? He improved on being a fringe rotation guy into, in my opinion, the Defensive Player of the Year. He should have won that award, and Cade Cunningham should have gotten this award. To me, it's kind of laughable that Cade didn't win. The guy went up from 23 to 26 points, from 4 rebounds to 6, from 7.5 assists to 9.1. Both defensive stats got a lot better. His 3-ball game went up. His field goal percentage went from 45 to 47. He took the Pistons from the toilet to like a top 6 and all that kind of stuff. Like it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Dyson Daniels is on a middling team. And I loved what Dyson Daniels did this year. I just had to say that. I think it's a freaking joke that Cade Cunningham didn't win Most Improved Player. I think the voters suck. I think the voting system sucks. And there, I'm off my soapbox. But Cade Cunningham's season was a monstrous success. And do I expect more next year? Not a ton more. This was the pop I was looking for this year. Cade was one of my pop players coming into the year, and he popped. So you don't pop over and over and over again, right, Doc? So I see similar numbers here. He's going to be around a PRA of 26, 6, and 9. I'd like continued hike ups in the defensive stats. Can we get the 3-ball to 2.5 per game? But I don't see a pop. Okay, he already had the pop. So, Doc, let's move on here and talk about your guy, Jalen Johnson. ADP of 41, came out with a ranking of 19th, but that's 8 cat per game. Okay, so we know if you do it by the totals that it's terrible because he barely played. 23 years old, Doc. Season a success or disappointment, and talk to me about next year.
Things were going along swimmingly until he got hurt. He only played in 36 games. He was averaging 19 points, 10 boards, 5 assists, 1.6 steals, 1 block, 1.2 threes, and shooting it pretty well from everywhere. The free throw line is a little shaky, about 75%. I think you and I can both live with that as well. Love everything about Jalen. Love his game. The injuries have become a real problem, a real issue, a real headache, and will be, again, a huge concern going into next year. And how comfortable you feel with Jalen being able to stay healthy will determine on whether or not he's on your team. The games played log is not pretty. It's 22, 70, 56, and 36. That's no bueno. So I'm cooling my jets on him a lot. I need to see a healthy season out of him before I'm using a 2nd-round pick.
And look, I get everything you're saying, Doc. I'm not disagreeing with any of it. I'm just saying I'm going to attack this from a value perspective and a bargain perspective because he was overvalued heading into last year. I thought, I think he might have had a 2nd-round grade. Well, we have it right here. What was his ADP? Wasn't it in the 20s? Oh, ADP of 41. Oh, yeah, I can live with that, like a 4th-round type of pick. Yeah, that's appropriate, I thought. Season a success or disappointment? It's a little Jalen? Blended. Go ahead, Doc. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you were asking a rhetorical question. I thought you were coming to me. Go ahead.
I was. It was one of those like stream of consciousness things. Doc, he went 20, 10, and 5. He was on my all-star team. The first time I probably two months-ish in, for the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla, I do a little like look at the all-star, right? And it's about a month in advance of when the All-Star conversation really crescendos. I just like to see, like, because Doc and I talk, oh man, this guy's going to be an All-Star this year. Oh man, this guy's going to be an All-Star this year. Well, you can't say that about it, and we don't, but yeah, right? It's like, okay, so who actually is going to make it, and who's on the bubble, and who's like, yeah, he really doesn't have a shot. So I like to bet that. And I did it with Jalen Johnson, and he made my team. The first time I did that exercise, he was on my Eastern Conference All-Star team. In that way, the season was a success. He totally became a different stat player. 20, 10, and 5, okay, is Bird, Irving, Kevin Garnett, Chris Webber. All right, it's those types of guys. And I'm not saying Jalen Johnson's in that ilk of player, but 20, 10, and 5 is that ilk of player. I'm just saying. So I'm super bullish on him next year, Doc, for a couple of reasons. Because I believe he's going to fall a little bit for everything that you said. And the other thing is this, Doc. I'm a 3 strikes and you're out guy. And it probably was 6 strikes for John Morant. That's just me being dumb and gullible, okay? And it'll never happen again. Same thing with Zion. Just dumb and gullible, okay? Because these guys are just amazing players, right? I want them to succeed. But wanting doesn't mean a damn thing. It's what's actually going to happen. And it's quantifying it and predicting it sensibly without any fanboy, okay? So for Jalen Johnson, I'm giving him that 3rd strike, Doc. If I draft him and load up on him and he plays 25 games next year, he will be with respect and with grace, but he will be on the dead to me list. He will be on the I'll never draft you again list. But I'm giving him one more year. Are you mad at me?
No, I feel the same way because I know if I'm in a draft and my 3rd round pick rolls around, that Jalen is going to be one of the guys that I can see me taking him with that pick. I'm not going to reach super hard for him like I would have and did last year. But you're right, man. It's one of those what if he somehow plays in 75 games? We've got a fantasy hero on our hands. It's just like and it happens, that a couple of years ago you went all in on Anthony Davis and he played like 76 games or something crazy. So I'm not out on Jalen. I'm just not as in as I was.
That makes sense. I'm totally with that. All right. So, 3rd round is when I'm going to be starting to look at Jalen as well. And here's just one more thing on him. Well, 2 more things quickly. He is a forward. Forwards are very, 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 very hard to get. Point guards and centers are not hard to get. 3 balls are not hard to get. You got to get them, but they're not hard to get. Forwards are hard to get. There's position scarcity there. So that should drive him up a little bit. And Jalen probably still has the SFPF. I love the SFPFs where they're clicking both boxes for you. And then lastly, Doc, Atlanta kind of sort of sucks. Like they're a middling team. They're a play-in tournament team. And so guess what? That means they're going to be playing bloodbaths all the way until the final day of the regular season to make the play-in tournament. There's going to be no shutdowns. There's going to be none of that. They're going to be fully going for it all the way through the fantasy playoffs. Another reason to like Jalen Johnson. Evan Mobley, Doc, next up. It's the Fantasy NBA today. Rick Kamla, Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. We have the great Andre Lemouche with us as well, although he's behind the curtain because we've muted him. Okay. I love messing with Andre. But Evan Mobley, ADP of 38. Doc, came out with an 8 per game ranking of 30th, 23 years old, just won Defensive Player of the Year. So I sheepishly ask you, was the season a success or a disappointment? And what about next year?
I think it was a success. Now, what's not a success is the fact that he and Darius Garland and DeAndre Hunter missed game 2 against the Pacers, and the Pacers pull off another miracle and now hold a 2-0 lead, making me look sort of smart. But then again, I didn't know Garland and Mobley were going to be out.
You did have Indiana. Let's go, Doc.
Anywho, 18.5 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, 1.6 steals, or 1.6 blocks, a steal, a 3. Not great free throw shooting, but not enough to kill you. and great field goal percentage for Mobley. He took his game to another level this year. The scoring was up about 3 points on the previous year. The rebounding stayed about where it was. I'd like to see him get that into a double-double, though. Like, can we not average 10.5 boards? Jared Allen's there taking a lot of those away from him. But Mobley's great, man. And to me, Mobley's one of those kind of boring, kind of not usually in the highlights, kind of workhorse, like just comes to work every day and does his job, and you just don't hear a lot about him. So it's actually a good thing. And I really like Mobley. He's never been one of my guys before. I don't know if he'll make my guys list next year, but he's close. He's certainly in consideration.
It's funny, Doc, because 3 of my guys have won you over this year. Paolo Banchero, Evan Mobley, and Cade Cunningham. And I don't have Paolo on my team in the Cam Dynasty, although I've tried hard to get him. But I do have Evan Mobley and Cade Cunningham. They were my first 2 picks. Cade was my pick, and then I made a trade to get Evan Mobley because I was pissed. I think I had the 8 or 9 spot. And so my decision was Cade or Mobley, and I took Cade, but I was like, I got to get Mobley. And so I made a trade and got Mobley with like the second or last pick of the first round. And I gave up some future picks and some other picks. So I got Mobley. But it's funny how all 3 of those guys won you over this year, Doc, because you weren't a huge Paulo guy coming in. I've heard you say that he kind of won you over this year as well.
Yeah, I still would like some more steals and blocks from that dude. But yeah, I'm good with Paulo. Yeah, I think that Cam Dynasty draft, when you took Cade Cunningham, I remember that actually. I drafted LaMelo Ball. And
you had a much higher pick, though. You had like 3rd, 4th, 5th pick or something, didn't you? I think I remember you having a top 5 pick. Did you not?
I think I did. I think so, but I took LaMelo Ball, and of course that was a disaster. So my already less than enthusiastic love for dynasty leagues was probably cemented in ruin by LaMelo Ball never playing basketball, but whatever. What are your thoughts on Mobley?
Andre just said, at least you didn't pick Wiseman back at that point. And again, the team that you drafted and the team that you have kind of sort of groomed over the last 3 years is now the property of one Andre Lemouche. And Andre may just get that team all the way up into the Final Four next year, perhaps butting heads with your boy Cam deep into the playoffs. I would love to see that, Andre. Bring that stuff to Daddy. Bring that stuff to Daddy. I am here for it. All right. My thoughts on Mobley. I love this dude. Doc, thought that we were going to get this season earlier. Okay. The 18-9, right? Because he was at 15, 16, and 16 with 9, with like 8 and 9, right? 15-9. That's not why I traded all that stuff to get Evan Mobley. You know what I mean, Doc? That's not why I did that. 15-9 with 1.4 blocks. Okay. And he played 50 games last year. Okay. So this was why I made that move to get Evan Mobley. 18.5 on his way to 20, 9.3 on his way to 10, 1.6 blocks just off a career high, 0.9 steals, a career high, 1.2 3 balls, finally, on 37%, 3.2 attempts. Let's get that up to 5 next year so we can get up to maybe 1.5, 1.7. Let's get the blocks up a little bit, but huge success for Evan Mobley, and I do still think there's room to grow here. This is a 2010 guy. If I've ever seen a 2010 guy, he's a 2010 guy. But he's not a 2010 guy because you have Jared Allen, Darius Garland, and Donovan Mitchell. That's not always going to be the computation for his teams. And he's entering, next year will be his age 24 season, Doc, in his 5th year. He's got, 10 years here of who knows who he's going to be playing with and where the stats could go, because he had Chris Bosh and Anthony Davis comparisons coming out in the draft, and they were not incorrect. So that's where I'm at with Evan Mobley. I do see even a little bit more room for growth next year. Andre said that trophy behind you is moving to Latvia within 2 seasons. I love this. I love this. I am so here for this. That's the Cam Dynasty trophy. Shout out to Cam Kreitz for setting that up. He was the first champion, and I've won the last 2. So, Andre, do not thwart my bid for a three-peat, dude. Anyway, let's move on to Trey Murphy here, Doc. ADP of 97, way over that in terms of end-of-season value. He was 35th in 8-cat per game rankings. He's 24 years old. Tricky season, right? Season a success or disappointment? And talk to me about next year for a man named Trey Murphy.
I mean, it was a huge success. Maybe most improved player in the league had he stayed healthy all year. He has a torn labrum. His scoring went up from 15 a game to 21 a game. That's 6. That sneezes on your boy Cade Cunningham as he goes by. Rebounds went up from 4.9 to 5.1. Assists went up from 3.5 to 2.2. Blocks went up from 0.7 to 0.5. Steals went up from 0.9 to 1.1. Threes stayed the same at 3 per game. Free throw percentage, 88, 89%, and his field goal percentage is good, 45. There's everything to love about this kid and nothing not to love if he can stay healthy. His game log 62, 79, 57, 53. That's a concern. I think we need to get Zion Williamson out of New Orleans and turn the team over to Trey Murphy because he's the future. There was a time I was like, man, is this kid just going to end up being a 3-point specialist? But I don't think that's the case, man. I think he's got game and he's got upside and he's young and I think we've only scratched the surface here.
The season, like I said, it's tricky, man. I mean, I'm going to say disappointment because I really think that, I mean, the pop that we got, Doc, was more of a pop than I think a lot of us thought we were going to get. I mean, it was a monstrous pop, like you said, which is cool, but I kind of already built that in. I mean, you played 53 games, and the buzzkill and the disappointment comes from he's going to miss a lot of time next year. So this isn't just a this year injury. He's going to miss time next year as well. Torn labrums take a long time to repair from that surgery. But, you know, I love the stat set, Doc. 0.7 blocks, 1.1 steals, 3 threes. Ooh la la. It's the fantasy gold that I love so much. He's not a PRA perfect fit for me at 21, 5, and 3. But yeah, I mean, that's a good PRA. I prefer more specialness with the rebounds and the assists. In terms of being a guy that leans into the rebounds, being a guy that leans into the assists, as opposed to a gunner and sort of a shooting guard type. But it is what it is. I'm still very, very pro Trey Murphy. I do mess with him, as the kids say. But I say season of disappointment because the injury is going to bleed into next year. Now, about next year, Doc, when he comes back, I think this is who he is. I don't think that, look, he's more talented than Herb Jones. And I love Herb Jones. CJ McCollum, to me, needs to come off the bench for this team. You're a vet, okay? Like, you've been paid, like, statue. It should be DeJounte, Herb, Trey, Zion, and you're big. And then CJ McCollum playing 28 to, I mean, dude, if the Miami Heat could find 34 minutes a game off the bench for Davion Mitchell, I think that New Orleans can find 32 minutes off the bench every game for CJ McCollum, backing up several positions. So I'm bullish on Trey going into next year. And again, Doc, I think he's going to be a nice value. He's going to be off of people's lists. He's going to have the red flag by his name on draft day, and people are going to forget about him. And so what if you take him in like the 10th round? When you've taken your sleepers and the draft starts getting a little bare, you know that moment, Doc, and you're kind of like, I don't really like any of these guys right now, right? Like, I'm not really excited about any of these guys right now. Boom. That's when you take Trey Murphy, slide him down to the IL, wait 2 months, and then you'll have a badass on your hands for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like it.
All right, so Franz Wagner, Doc, ADP of 46. That held up well. He had a final season 8 cat per game ranking of 39, but he did miss a big chunk with injury. Season a success or disappointment? And talk to me next year about Franz.
I thought it was a huge success. I was kind of all in on Franz coming into the year. I was like, there's no way he shoots it that poorly. He looked good over the summer. He's going to come back and play well. And he really did, man. The field goal percentage was down. Like, it was lower last year than it has been at any point in his career, but it was still 46.3%, which was fine. The 3-point percentage was right around 30. I'd like to see that get up to 35 where it used to be, but it was still fine. I mean, dude hit almost 2 threes a game, 87% from the line. Scoring went way up from 19.7 to 24.2. The boards went up. The assists went up by a whole 1 assist per game. And the steals went up from 1.1 to 1.3. And Wagner was balling, man. The fact that him and his teammate Paolo Banchero both suffered baseball injuries, strained obliques on the same team is really, really weird. Like, something weird is going on in Orlando. I don't know if it's the staff or the water or what, but very bizarre and a shame that he had to miss all that time. But I was enjoying Franz Wagner whenever he was healthy this year.
Franz season was a success. He became a different player. You know, Doc kind of took you into the numbers. When you go from 19.7 to 24.2, you're a different player. 19.7 is nice. 24.2 is elite. And then you're giving us 6 boards. You're giving us 5 assists. I mean, dude, he became a 25-5 guy this year. 24, 6, and 5. I'm a round up guy, okay? Not like the pesticide or the whatever, like the stuff you buy at Home Depot. But I'm a round up guy. Like, okay, 4.7 assists is 5 to me. You know what I mean? So just so you guys know that. But 24, 6, and 5, that's an incredible PRA. With 1.3 steals, a career high. With 1.7 threes, a career high. Doc, he's got to dial in the 3 game, dude. Like, who are we talking about? Cade Cunningham. You got to take this to another level. I mean, I'll take the 1.7 3 balls in fantasy, but 29.5%. Bro, it's your 4. Like, he went from 35 to 36 to 28 to 29. What's up with that? Franz, you are a wing. You are taking 19 shots per game. You are taking 6 threes per game. Bro, you can't shoot 29%. That's unacceptable. Like, if I'm Jamal Mosley, like, I'm hugging it out with him and stuff, but I'm going, Franz, bro. Like, do we want to win playoff series here? Do we want to, like, maybe make a run? Like, we need you to make threes, dude. Because if Franz is making threes, it's going to be that much tougher to guard him because he's awesome off the dribble and he's one of the best slasher scorers we have in the league. As in terms of next year, Doc, what do I see from Franz Wagner? Honestly, probably a little regression because, Jalen Suggs plays 70 games. I see regression from Franz. I do. I think the points are going to come down slightly. The rebounds will probably stay where they are. So will the steals. So will the threes. The threes may come down a little unless he hikes up the percentage, and then he could mitigate that. But the assists probably are not going to be at 4.7 next year with Jalen Suggs back. It may go back to the 4 assist range. He was at 3.7 and 3.5 the 2 previous years. That would probably be my projection. Probably like 22, 6, and 4 would be kind of what I'm looking at for Franz. It's not like he falls off a cliff, but I see a little bit of comeback to earth because Jalen Suggs will be out there. All right, Doc, let's move on to Austin Reaves. A bunch of really intriguing names with these 4th-year players, guys drafted in 2021 or not drafted like Austin Reaves. ADP of 88, end season value of 40th in terms of 8 cat per game, 26 years old. Doc, was the season a success or disappointment? And look ahead in your crystal ball for next year on Reaves.
Real quick, to finish up my last thought on Franz Wagner. Like, when I think about Franz Wagner, I see him pulling up and shooting 3-pointers. Like, he's a 3-point shooter. So how is it only making 1.7, and how is his percentage that low? I'm with you on that. Like, that should be a lot better, and hopefully he fixes that this summer. As for our guy, Austin Reaves, another candidate for most improved player, went up from 16 to 20 a game scoring wise. The steals went up from 0.8 to 1.1, so that was fun. Everything else went up slightly. Good free throw shooter, good field goal percentage, and really was the third guy, the third big on the big three in LA with Luka and LeBron and Riley. Unfortunately, after the big three, it's a bunch of nothing. They don't even have a little three. They just have a bunch of guys. So that kind of sucks for the Lakers. And now we have to see what they're going to do this summer, because I don't think they want to come back into next year without a big man that JJ Redick trusts enough to actually put in a playoff game. And they just they need depth. They need to figure this out. So, I mean, Austin Riley could be a guy that they have to get rid of to make the team better, which would be unfortunate if that's the case. I love Austin. I said Austin Riley, I think. Austin Reaves. I love Austin Reaves. And if you drafted him and had him on your team last year, you did very well. He played in 73 games. So unlike all these other guys that we've been talking about, he made it through the whole season and was awesome.
The poor playoff series that it came out that he had some kind of pretty significant injury that he was playing through, which I appreciate. I do think the timing of the release of that news is a little dubious. Austin Reaves plays like junk in the first round against Minnesota. We find out afterwards, oh, well, he had this injury. So is it spin? Is it damage control? Or is it factual? I don't know that, but the timing of that is dubious. Like, if you're really going to try to take up for Austin Reaves and you're the Lakers or somebody close to him, get that out there during the series, okay? Because then it will kind of stop the narrative and the noise while the series is going on. And I presume out in LA that Austin Reaves got banged on while that series was going on. I don't know. I don't live there. But I know how local sports talk radio is. They're savages, okay? That probably did not go well for Austin. So quiet that, quell that. They didn't. Then it comes out after the series that he had this big time injury. I'm kind of like, did he? I don't know. But I love Austin Reaves, Doc. If he gets, look, there's all this Giannis to the Lakers stuff, right? And I'm not mad at it because LeBron's going to play another year or two. And then you would have Giannis and Luka. Who would not want to rock with Giannis and Luka? And by the way, that would be the most Laker thing ever. They just always get all the best players somehow, some way, right? And you would have Giannis and Luka on the same team. But anyway, Doc, you would have to give up a big shot and a lot of other stuff to get Giannis. I'm not even sure LA has the assets to get Giannis. I'm really not. Austin Reaves clearly would be one of the assets going to Milwaukee. But do they have the draft capital? Do they have the other young players that Milwaukee would want? I don't really see the puzzle pieces fitting right there, Doc, unless they brought in a third, maybe even a fourth team, and then LA just screws over the other two teams, and that's to do kind of straight up with Milwaukee. But if Reaves went to a situation like that, Austin Reaves may go like 25-6. He may have a Cade Cunningham year, Doc. Like, I mean, think about it. If he goes to Milwaukee, they're rebuilding, they suck. Someone's got to score the rock. I guess at that point, I'd be a little bit afraid of a shutdown with Austin Reaves, but there would be a major stat hike if he got traded with the Lakers making some kind of aggressive offseason move. But even as it is with the Lakers, he proved that he's still really, really good and effective with with Luka and with LeBron. And so he already proved that that's not a concern. So I'm very bullish on him going into next year. I'm not sure how much improvement we're going to get off of the pop he had this year, but I'm an Austin Reaves guy. Josh Giddey, Doc, is your guy. ADP of 69, end season 8 cat per game ranking of 44th. Wow, he's 22 years old. Andre kind of help. Well, he always helps us with the rundown. He creates the rundown, but he put 22 years old here. Like I would have said 24 or 25 for Josh Giddey. That's like wild to me that he's only 22. But Doc, success or disappointment, and take me into next year for him.
Yeah, dude, there's like a list of 10 guys we're talking about, and he's the youngest out of all of them. And all I can think about is that game where he hit that half-court runner, more of a shot, to beat the Lakers, and Stacey King's like, "Good day, mate." And it showed the Lakers fan in his jersey just like crushed. Like,
dude, was that the best moment of the season?
It was for me, man. I freaking love that whole sequence.
Yes.
Well, I think those were up there. The Tyrese Halliburton 3-pointers in the regular season to win games out of the corner were both pretty awesome.
Great.
And now these last 2 games, the Pacers have won, where Ty Halliburton is still doing that kind of stuff.
Dude, he's a magician, man. He is. We'll talk playoffs in a little bit, but he's authoring up some of these like insane comebacks, and he kind of keeps doing it, dude. It's kind of like, where are we going with this Halliburton thing? But talk to me about Giddey, dude.
It's got a Reggie Miller vibe to it. But
he does. He's
Giddey,
clutch, man.
As far as Giddey goes, man, my whole thought process coming into last season is he's been held back and held down in Oklahoma City. He had that legal issue there that was no fun for him or anyone involved. He wasn't getting to play his natural position. He wasn't getting to do what he normally would do because he had Jalen Williams and SGA doing all those things as well. And he just got lost in the shuffle. He needed a change of scenery. Everything fell into place when he got to Chicago. The other guys that could have stolen his thunder, a lot of them were hurt. Trey Jones went down. And Giddey just had a dream season. And really, I hope, put all of his doubters to rest, because the PRA was flirting with a triple-double every night. The 3-pointers were there. The shooting was much better than I think most people thought it was going to be. And he was out there doing it every night. And it was, I just got lucky, man. I went all in on Josh Giddey. I was vocal about it. I drafted him everywhere, and he somehow went off.
Because Zach LaVine got traded. That's what you needed, Doc, for the pop to happen. LaVine got traded. The Giddey pop happened. We could get a lot of moves from the Chicago Bulls, or we could get none. I don't know what the Bulls are going to do. Are they going to tear it down? Are they going to hang in there with Vooch? Are they going to bring back, Josh Giddey? They got to sign him, Doc. He's a restricted free agent. The way he played at the end of the year was max-ish. I believe he's going to want max money. He was the 6th pick in the draft, if memory serves. Very highly drafted guy. And so, there's good stock here. And if you're Josh, I want max. And then we can peel off a max a little bit. But they'll bring him back, right? That's why Chicago made that move. You trade Caruso, and there was other stuff involved. You didn't do that for a 1-year deal with Giddey. You did that because you thought Giddey could be a really big-time player for you. Pop. Okay, now they're going to pay him. Giddey's going nowhere, in my opinion. You said lost in the shuffle in OKC. Totally true. Doc, think back to last year with Oklahoma City. They had Josh Giddey so miscast. They had him playing in the corner, waiting on kick out 3 balls, and then like where you go to the dunker spot, right? Where you kind of drive baseline, and you're a lob threat and that kind of thing, right? Like that's where they put the 5th guy. That's where they put the defensive guy that has really not a lot of offense. They just hide you over there, and the other 4 guys kind of do the stuff. And then boom, Giddey has the ball in his hands and everything happened. Like, that's a crazy kind of turn of events. I love Giddey, Doc, coming into the draft. I nailed that that on my mock draft. I had him going 6th to OKC. They drafted him 6th. We all do mock drafts. What's our mock draft percentage, Doc? 15%, 18%? I mean, everybody, even the guys that the big time guys do the NFL drafts. Look at the percentages. They're not good, okay? Because these teams throw so many curveballs at us. Anyway, next year for Josh Giddey, I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic, Doc, because I think Chicago's going to give him a mountain of money, and I think they're going to pay him as the number one, and I think he's going to be the number one. And Kobe White is going to kick ass and take names next year as well. I'm not worried about Io and Trey Jones, who I think is a free agent, if memory serves, and all these other guys. Like Giddey is established, Kobe is established. They're heavy hitters, man. They are. So I think Josh Giddey, there may even be a stat hike next year, Doc, because you look at the first half of this year versus the second half. All of those great numbers came in like the last 2 months. Okay, what if he does it over the course of a whole season? So I think there's upside even off what he did this year. How about Scottie Barnes, Doc? It's the Fantasy NBA today. Rick Kamla, Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. ADP of 19th, but he slipped all the way down to 47th in terms of 8 cat per game ranking. He's 23. Success or disappointment this year, and what about next year?
I'm going to say disappointment. I was kind of all in on Giddey. I was excited. Not Giddey. Scottie Barnes. I was all excited to draft him. I drafted him in a lot of places. The game log for him is not good the last 2 years. It went from 74 to 77 to 60 and 65 games. This year, the scoring was down from 19.9 to 19.3. The assists were down by 0.3. The rebounds were down by 0.5. The three-pointers were down by 0.5. Like, what is happening, Scottie Barnes? The free throw percentage isn't great. And Toronto is just a weird team to me, man. And they've got RJ Barrett kind of running all over the place and shooting the ball as much as he wants, which I think is impacting Scottie Barnes a little bit. And now next year we get this most bizarre, the most bizarre thing, I think, out of all the bizarre things that happened in the NFL or NBA this year, the fact that Toronto kind of went all in on Brandon Ingram still blows my mind. I don't understand it. I'm not even sure it's real. Like, I still haven't seen this dude in a Raptors jersey yet. And I don't know that I will next year.
Was there even a press conference? Was there even a press? I am serious right now. Was there even an introductory press conference where he is sitting down, mic in front of him, addressing the media? Andre, please help me out with this. Was there even an introductory press conference? Because I don't remember it. I don't remember a quote going viral from Brandon Ingram said they're going to win a championship in 2 years. Something like that. I don't remember any of that, dude.
And his ADP was top 20, and he finished top 50 on Scottie Barnes. So with all this stuff going on, I mean, he's not going to be on my list of my guys going into next season because there's too many unknowns, and I don't like what happened between this year and last year. Like, these stats should not be going down. I don't care if RJ Barrett's there or not.
I love everything you're saying, Doc. I'm going to be looking at Scottie Barnes like a value pick next year. And he is the number one on that team. He is a max player. So the money finds the floor, the money finds the usage rate. I like that Toronto played him all the way to the end of the year. And then he had the, I believe, the thumb injury that he'd been playing with for a while, so they shut him down. So Andre said he does not have Brandon Ingram sound, but he says Bobby Webster, the GM, said it's an exciting day for the franchise. Said at Ingram's introductory press conference ahead of Wednesday's game. So they did have an introductory press conference. Brandon wanted to be here. Blah 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 blah. All right, Andre, thank you for that. I'm high on Scottie Barnes going into next year. I am high on him going into next year, Doc, because Brandon Ingram never plays. Brandon Ingram is a myth. All right, RJ Barrett, is he? Emmanuel quickly has missed games nonstop ever since he got to Toronto from the New York Knicks. But I just love that Scottie Barnes. I love his stat set. Big with the threes, the blocks, the steals. A really good PRA guy. To me, he is the Scottie Pippen of today. I see Scottie Pippen when I watch Scottie Barnes play. The versatility, the defense, the athleticism, the quick twitch, the darting movements. I love Scottie Barnes. So I'm with it, Doc. And when I'm looking second, third, fourth round, and I don't know exactly where I'll take Scottie Barnes, but at third, fourth, fifth round, somewhere in there, that's where I'm looking to get forwards, right? And I'll take guards and centers later, but I got to give me some SFPF. And Scottie Barnes should probably be SF and PF. So what's the success? I got to answer that question. The season was a disappointment, absolutely, positively. But I'm bullish on him going into next year. Jalen Suggs, Doc, last player here. Then we'll talk playoffs. We'll talk ATS. We'll talk props. Jalen Suggs, as we're breaking down here, the 2021 draft, 4th-year players. He had an ADP of 102, shot up to 67, 8 cat per game ranking, 23 years old, season a success or disappointment, and what about next year?
Well, he only made it through 35 games. Things were going well in those 35 games. The scoring was way up from 12.6 to 16. The steals went up, the blocks went up. The assists went up, the rebounds went up. Like everything was going in the right direction. The threes were up from 2 to 2.2. He was shooting a career high 88% from the free throw line. Like, and his field goal percentage was kind of whacked. It was down at 41, but everything was going in the right direction for Jalen Suggs before he got hurt. He was even having that kind of success with Cole Anthony and Anthony Black and that other old dude in the way. So I think Suggs,
Corey Joseph.
Yes, Suggs was on the right path, man. And he's one of your guys. And the fact he only played in 35 games is criminal. It's sad. And he was going to have a great year had he stayed healthy.
Disappointment because of the injury, but it's blended because the stat hike was major. Went to like a 15, 5-5 type of PRA, really good steal number, really good 3 number. And we've been waiting on that stat pop. Like, just make him the point guard. He was the guy at Gonzaga. I mean, the guy, like college player of the year, that good. The stats were off the charts for a college basketball player. He is a good stat guy. He wasn't a good stat guy in the NBA until this year. That was a success. I'm big on Suggs coming into next year. It's a lot like Jalen Johnson, Doc. If you do it to me again, you're dead to me in fantasy basketball. Not in reality, not as a human. I always have to make that clear, Doc, because people hear stuff and they get crazy. I love Jalen Suggs. He's literally, I have a Suggs jersey. I freaking love Jalen Suggs. And I'm a big Paulo guy. Which jersey did I get for the Magic? I got a Suggs jersey. Suggs is my homie, man. I love how hard he plays and all that kind of stuff. He's from Minnesota as well. But so I'm hanging in there with him, Doc. But if he gives me, and I'll be drafting him and taking him because he's going to slip in drafts. But if he does that to me again next year, then he'll be on the never draft again list. But he gets one more chance with your boy Cam. And I do see a lot of room for improvement on the stat line that he put up this year. He's still a young, ascending guy.
Unlike Josh Giddey, who you're going to have to probably reach for pretty early in the draft if you want to get him on your team. We haven't talked about where Josh Giddey is going to go yet, but I assume he's not going to be there after round 3. Jalen Suggs is going to be available, man, like round 6, round 7, round 8. Like, he's going to be available, and he's going to be a value pick. And I think Scottie Barnes could fall a little bit too. Like, he may be a 5th or 6th round pick next year, which that's a value slot for Scottie Barnes. So interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's a strike zone for me if he falls that far. Andre's giving me a note. Suggs had season-ending surgery on his left knee, and he's expected to be ready for the 25-26 season. He told reporters that is all good stuff. All right, Doc, talk to me about the Knicks and Celtics series. Then we'll talk Denver and OKC, the games that are coming up here on a Wednesday night, and then we'll talk ATS and props. But first, a little general conversation on these games. What you got on Knicks Celtics first?
I was at the pub playing a little golden tea during that Knicks game, and it was out of control. They were down by 20 or whatever. I was like, this is unraveling. I can't do this anymore. So I finished my game of golden tea. I got in my car and drove back home. And I only live like a mile away. So by the time I got home and back in my office, it was like a 6-point game. And I was like, oh, let's go. Because, there were parlays involved and point spreads. And plus, I've sort of been telling people the Knicks are good enough to beat the Celtics if they're healthy, which people think I'm crazy. But they actually held on and won that game. And I could not believe it. It was almost as if the Celtics thought it was over and just sort of checked out. And then the game that the most surprising one out of all to me was the Nuggets. The Nuggets came back and beat the Thunder in a game the Thunder controlled from the opening tip. So all these road teams winning all of these games, including in the NHL as well, is just mind-blowing, man. You don't want to be playing at home right now. We've seen the Pacers take a 2-0 lead on the road. We've seen the Knicks go up 1-0 on the road, and the Nuggets are up 1-0 on the road. So it's just incredible. I love when stuff like that happens. I love when it's not the same old crap every year.
I don't, Doc. I want it to be boring and formulatic. Is that even a word? I want it to follow a formula and a pattern.
Formulaic.
Okay? Formulaic. There you go. Like, dude, I took a bath on OKC. 2 $100 live bets flushed down the drain. Now, I did rescue the evening. I played the Knicks money line when they were down 20. All right, 10 became 130. And I also, Doc, I didn't tell you this when we were texting. I played because I had so much money on, I really stepped out on OKC. It's the biggest investment I've made since I've restarted betting here. And I got him at minus 11.5, minus 12.5. Dude, I thought that was going to be a 25-point OKC party. That's what was brewing, okay? And so I misdiagnosed the moment of truth. When you live bet, you got to diagnose the moment of truth. I misdiagnosed it. There was no moment of truth, okay? That moment where, boom, this team's winning the game. That's how I look at it. And that's my challenge when I'm watching these games. When is that moment of truth, okay? Totally screwed it up with the OKC Denver thing, but historically, I nailed it. You get my drift? Usually what happens is OKC drills Denver in that game. Denver gets tired. They just come off a 7-game series. OKC's been resting. Usually that's an OKC runaway win. Didn't happen that way. That's why I like old, stodgy, dusty, and boring, okay? Because it makes it easier to bet. Denver threw a curveball at everybody in that game and cost me a bunch of money. But Doc, check out what I did. I played the money line on Denver for $20, and 20 became 80 or 90. I can't remember exactly. So wow. I did. So and dude, that was a shot in the dark. I was like, because it was starting to get go the other way off of my live betting, right? And I'm like, all right, I got to get a little something on Denver here, and taking the points. No, I got to really try to kind of boom and. So if I'm going to lose these live bets, damn it, Denver better just win this game. That was my thought on it, and they did. And so I took a little bit of a bath, Doc. It wasn't a big bath. It wasn't a drenching, but dude, boom, $200 bets just dead. That hurts. That hurts, bro. And it was like I said, I've been playing 30s and 50s, the occasional hundo, and I went bam, bam, 2 stacks. As I call, I ain't going real stacks, okay? I'm betting $1,000 around here, but to me, 100 is a stack, and I went 2 stacks at OKC. Oh my God! So now I'm all screwed up in the head on this series, dude. All screwed up in the head. And we'll get to this when we do the ATS stuff. Denver and New York, Doc. Okay, think about the big point spreads here. Boston's 10.5. OKC's 11, right? Do you feel good about laying 11 with OKC, knowing how good Denver is and how motivated in championship DNA? Do you feel good about laying 10.5 with Boston, who sucks at home, And you've got the New York Knicks who just bring it every minute of every game. Do you feel good? Oh, yeah, man, OKC's going to dominate and blow them out. Oh, and we'll kind of transition to ATS here. Oh, yeah, man, I feel great. Boston's going to blow them out. I don't know that they're going to blow them out. So I can't, I'm out on pregame betting on these games, Doc. I'm going to live bet both of these games. I gotta smell out, is there greed from Boston? New York? Is there greed from Denver? Or do they give me that vibe where they got one and they got home court advantage and they're ready to move on to game 3 and kind of give up on game 2? Again, trying to diagnose the moment of truth, but that's how I'm attacking these 2 games tonight.
Well, to me, if you're getting a team like the Knicks and 10.5 points, and you're getting a good team like the Nuggets and 10.5 points, that's what you do. I will be parlaying those together, just as I did on Monday night when they both hit. I had the Knicks plus 8.5. I had the Nuggets plus 10.5. They both hit. And then my parlay that, like you, I was taking a bath last week, but Monday night I had Jalen Brunson over, Karl Anthony Towns double-double, OG Anunoby over, and Derek White over, and all 4 of those hit. So it was a 4-leg parlay that hit, brought me out of the depths. But I'm taking, as long as Vegas wants to give these guys all these points in a playoff game, I'm taking it and running with it, man. Give me the Knicks plus 10.5. Give me the Nuggets plus 10.5.
I love your confidence, dude. I mean, I'll think about it between now and I'm probably going to just live bet it, but I like your confidence. I like everything you said right there, dude. All right, let's get into some props here. Ricky props. I'm going to shoot them out here, Doc. I got Brunson over 25.5 points. I mean, he lives over 30. It's 25.5. I think they're anticipating a blowout. I don't really see it, so I'll go over on that. Jalen Brunson, 6.5 dimes. He's always at 7+. Tatum at 27.5. Look, it's a quasi-death game for Boston. Tatum and Brown are going to fire in this game, in my opinion. So I'm playing them both. 27.5 for Tatum, 22.5 for Brown. I'm not going to lose both. Probably going to win them both. Derek White again at 15.5. It's too low. Josh Hart at 11.5. It's up from 10.5, but I still like him to cover this number. And I'll check up there. I got a couple on the OKC Denver game, but get in here with your props for the night here, Doc.
Mine were almost all the same as yours. I'm going back to the well that hit for me on Monday. I'm going Jalen over points, Brunson. I'm going Cat double-double. I'm going Derek White over his. And yeah, I like that. I'd probably go back to OG Anunoby too. He's 16.5 points. It's kind of high. I never know what to do with Josh Hart, man. He's not really a scorer, but he's also a double-double machine. I just never know what to do with him.
Josh Hart has been the majority of the time over 10.5 or 11.5. Not every game, but and he's always kind of flirting right there with that number. And I just like the hustle. I like how many minutes he plays. All right, let's go to OKC and Denver. I don't have a lot for you guys. All right, I'm looking at guys that didn't play well that I'm expecting a bounce back from. Chet Holmgren, okay? He had 12 in the last game. I'm going to go over the 15.5 here. I wanted to do it with Jalen Williams, but it's 22.5, and I just don't like that number. But I also don't want to go under on that number. I like Christian Brown over 11.5. Last 5 games, he's gone 17, 11, 14, 21, 11, over in 3 of 5, which is 60%, and he's missed by a half point the other 2 games. I'm back on Russell Westbrook, Doc. 12.5. It's up from 10.5 to 11.5. Now it's 12.5. Golly. I just got attacked by a frog. So I'm still doing it. All right. In the playoffs, Westbrook is gone. And this was from beginning to now. 15, 14, 3. But that was the game he got injured. Then he missed a game. Then 21, 14, 16, 18. For every full healthy game, Russell Westbrook has been over every time 12.5. So I like the over on Westbrook as well here, Doc.
I like Jamal Murray over 20.5 points. I like Jokic to hit over 1.5 3-pointers. And I like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander under 33.5. Yeah, that's just too high, man. 33.5. You kidding me? That's it.
I like it, Doc. All right. For Dr. A, for Andre Lemouche, I am Rick Kamla. We appreciate you joining us. Please go to the website, sportsethos.com. Subscribe to our work. Download the Sports Ethos app. It is absolutely amazing. And we will be back on Thursday with another episode of the Fantasy NBA Today. Again, looking at some of these younger players and how they're going to head into next year. This episode right here has been brought to you by Bet Online.